is going on, my fellow movie nerds and geeks alike? This past weekend, we went to Cherry Hill, New Jersey to attend Monster Mania 62. I have been going to Monster Mania for 20 years at this point. It is the biggest and best and most extravagant convention, horror-wise, in our area. It is always so much fun. It is also wildly popular these days, so we chose to go on a Sunday this week, try to avoid as much of the crowds as possible. It was another excellent time. Thank you so much to Monster Mania for another amazing con. I always say this, but I assure you this time it's very true. I did not film a lot of the convention, not a lot of B-roll. Monster Mania tends to get very, very crowded as the day progresses, and a lot of the guests have like these guards these days that prevent you from filming anything or anywhere around them unless you're of course giving them more money. So I wanted to like avoid any confrontation, and I also just didn't want to be one of those like kooky people walking around with my phone out the whole time. Bruh. I do have some footage that you guys can check out now, and be sure to stick around after, and I'll show you all the spoils, all the autographs, all the great stuff we picked up. And if you want like a more cohesive, longer tour, check out our video we did at Monster Mania last year. I hope you guys enjoy this short but very fun tour of Monster Mania this year. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that little tour of Monster Mania 62. Not as crowded as we were anticipating, thankfully, because we avoided Saturday like the plague, but still, great turnout, great vendors as always, and just some amazing guests. And before I get into everything that we picked up and stuff that we had signed, I just wanted to mention all the cool people that we saw. If you guys have watched our channel in the past, you know that I grew up with my buddy Joe Lascola, who is one half of the Movie Dumpster podcast, who had a table this year, and as you saw in the tour, we stopped by their table, shot the shit for a while. Joe was one of my great buddies growing up, and me and him would go back and forth with horror movies our entire lives, so it's always great to see their success with Movie Dumpster and shoot the shit about all the cool indie horror projects that Joe's been working on, so be sure to be on the lookout for Pig Shit coming soon. He's actually editing and he shot the film, and of course, you know Movie Dumpster, I'm sure. If not, head over there and subscribe right away. Amazing. The amount of work they put into that is certainly a lot more professional than this amateur hour that I've got going on over here. Love seeing Joe and Sean and Joe's wife Julie. Great people. They always make hot sauce and grow peppers in their backyard. Every Monster Mania they have a new batch of their hot sauces. Movie Dumpster. Love you guys. Joe, I'll see you soon, brother. And we also ran into Sean Clark, which if you are a fan of horror YouTube or go to conventions all the time, you know Sean Clark. You know he runs Horror's Hallowed Grounds, which is just like amazing horror movie locations and set visits and all sorts of amazing stuff. And he has a great podcast with Chris Nelson called The Thing with Two Heads that me and Vicky just love. I have been seeing Sean Clark at these conventions for the 20 years I've been going, and when I first saw him, I didn't know he was running his own agency for these stars to get booked at these conventions. So when I first saw him, I was like, who is this guy? Like with the spiky black hair. But I really like Sean Clark and really respect all like the hard work he puts into all the stuff he puts out.
Look at this fucking guy.
And another person I ran into was my buddy Emmett. I have known Emmett through social media for years and years. He was just a username on Instagram to me. We would share movie thoughts and just like reviews and stuff like that. And a few years ago, his son Wes was cast in Terrifier 2 as like the little boy who's like eating the razor blades of the Art Krispies, which was insane. I was like, holy shit, small world, dude, and congratulations and all your success to your kid. But this was the first time we had ever met in person, and it was really great to put a face to a name on Instagram. Continued success, and look forward to chatting about movies for years to come. All right, and the first autograph we picked up was from none other than Eli Roth himself. Yes, he was the Bear Jew in Inglourious Bastards, but more so to me, he is the director of Cabin Fever, Hostel 1 and 2, The Green Inferno, Thanksgiving, Knock Knock. He gets a lot of flack for some reason. I've always really loved his movies, and his work in Inglourious Bastards as the Bear Jew is iconic, and he's such a champion for horror movies in general that like I've always loved the guy. I chatted him up about Giallo and thanked him profusely for pulling Edwige Finnick out of retirement.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Putting her in Hostel 2. Yes, she is the art instructor in Hostel 2. And he was just so sweet. He was wearing like a cool deep red shirt. So we just chatted it up about Italian cinema. He talked about like his work in the movies. Really sweet guy. If you have a chance to meet him, he is so personable, and man, I can't say enough kind things about the guy.
I mean, here's the thing about horror fans. They love to complain.
And we also met Roger Jackson, who, if you're familiar with horror movies, he does the voice of Ghostface in every single Scream movie. I've had my childhood Ghostface mask when I was Ghostface for Halloween when I was 12 years old after the initial film came out. When I tell you he is such a sweet man, it doesn't do it justice. He is such a sweet guy. He signed it in like silver ink on the mouth here. Fun fact, I didn't know he did the voices for all the aliens in Mars Attacks. It was really bizarro meeting him as well, because when you're talking to him, it sounds like you're talking to Ghostface. It's insane. It's just like hard to separate like what he looks like from his voice. Roger Jackson, definitely meet him if you get the chance. He is a sweet guy who just loves films, man.
What's your favorite scary movie?
And the main draw for us this year was the 40th anniversary reunion of Return of the Living Dead. Now, about 10 years ago, we met almost the entire cast from this movie at a Monster Mania, and we were only missing a few. Hell, we even met Clu Gulager and James Karen before they passed away. We met Miguel Nunez this year. Yes, Spider from Return of the Living Dead. And for Friday the 13th fans, he is also Demon from Friday the 13th Part 5. Those damn enchiladas. I had kind of heard mixed reactions to people meeting him in the past, but boy, he was such a funny, sweet guy, man. I loved meeting him, and he is just one of my favorite bit characters from the Friday the 13th franchise.
Oh, some damn enchiladas!
And we also met Jewel Shepard, who played Casey in Return of the Living Dead. She was a sweet, sweet lady. Yeah, we were waiting a while for her because she was just like running late, but when she did show up, she was kind and apologetic. But it was really awesome that she wrote, yeah, fuck off and die when she signed the poster, so that was cool.
How about you, Casey? You like sex with death?
Yeah, so fuck off and die.
I think now we have met almost every single, still living, of course, character from Return of the Living Dead, and so happy. It feels good to complete something, you know? Last year you saw I went to Texas for a buddy's bachelor party and I stopped at Pallbearer Press. Yes, Pallbearer Press, one of the greatest horror movie t-shirt companies in the biz. Vicky picked up this awesome Possession t-shirt, which is fucking beautiful, man. And I picked up a Phantasm t-shirt. What's cool about this one is they put a quote from part 2. You think that when you die, you go to heaven? You come to us. So I just love this and I needed a new Phantasm shirt, so pick that up. Thank you, Pallbearer Press. And no stranger to Monster Mania was Diabolik DVD. Love Diabolik DVD. They're always so nice and always have such an amazing array of Blu-ray movie titles to pick out. So I picked up Dario Argento's The Phantom of the Opera. Alright, I've never seen this, but I love Argento. And I know it's like late stage kind of Argento, so it's probably not going to be the best, but nothing can be as bad as Dracula 3D, right? Ugh, well, I guess only time will tell. Vicky picked up The Black Coat's Daughter, which is, of course, directed by Oz Perkins, who did Longlegs and The Monkey. We've never seen this, so we wanted to grab it, and yeah, look forward to checking this one out as well and see if Oz Perkins is just, like, nailing it on all fronts for us. Vicky also picked up Brandon Cronenberg's Antiviral. This was a Severin Films title. She really, really loves this movie. This movie really gives me the ick. I hate using that word, but that's a great way to describe it, about like these people who are so obsessed with celebrities that they even want to contract their diseases. It's gross, man. And you could see Brandon Cronenberg really starting off strong in his father's footsteps, and he's gone on to do Infinity Pool and all that, but very happy to add Antiviral in 4K. And speaking of Severin Films, they also had a table this year, which ironically they had already sold out of Antiviral, so we were glad Diabolik still had it. But I picked up the 4K of Aldo Lotto's The Night Train Murders. Now, everything I read about this movie was saying that it is essentially The Last House on the Left, but on a train, and that's exactly what it is. It is disturbing and hard to watch. Happy to add a sort of Giallo film to our watch list. And yeah, thank you, Severin Films. And finally, Vinegar Syndrome, of course, had a booth, which was awesome to see that they had so many out-of-print titles on their table. They also had the new Forgotten Giallo set, Volume 8, which this isn't even out or anything in stores yet, so I grabbed this right away. We haven't watched any of these films, but we really, really look forward to checking them all out and continuing our Giallo series and adding them to our little tier list as time goes on. Alright guys, so that was our trip to Monster Mania 62. Of all the conventions in our area, Monster Mania is definitely the biggest and gets like the craziest, most insane guests. I highly recommend going to check them out. Thank you so much, Monster Mania, and Dave and crew over there. You guys absolutely kill it. And we hope you enjoyed checking out all the stuff that we picked out and the autographs and stuff that we got. It was great meeting new friends and friends I've known for years that just I've never met in person. I look forward to making a lot of new friends at all the cons we go to. And if you're a viewer of the channel, feel free to pop over and say hello to us next time you see us at one of these cons. And always remember, the horrors persist, but so do we. We'll see you at the next video, you guys. Adios.